Hi ho, I am Igroglaz and today we will talk about fighting, about combat in idle clans. So this is very interesting activity, fight different monsters, and there are a lot of different strategies. You could think that this is simple game, but actually it's not. First of all, I made the video guide about early game. So I gave some advices to you, I'll repeat them in short. So first of all, which weapon to choose. When you just start to play, it's very nice to take a scimitar, because scimitar has fastest attack interval. So if you would go to local market, in stores, here you could see different types of weapons. You cannot craft weapon, you could only upgrade it in crafting by applying gemstones which you get from enemies. So the thing is that fastest weapon in the game it's scimitar. That's why attack interval like less than 3 seconds. It's very nice weapon to start because you get a lot of gains, so you will level up faster. Another option is club. It's also quite fast weapon, and bow. Bow it's very good weapon too, fast attack interval. And also there are a lot of monsters who are vulnerable to bows. Considering bows, we will talk a bit later in this video. But when you look into the monsters, you could notice that they have different parameters and they have weakness. So different monsters, they have different weakness. For example, if you go with a bow, archery, it's worth to fight with the snakes because they have weakness to archery. For example, dragons, all dragons, they have weakness to archery. So archery it's solid choice, but when you fight as an archer, you get only archery and hit points. If you fight in melee, you get your weapon, you get your strength, defense, and hit points. So you gain more skills. It's about weapons. Important thing is hybrid builds, because in this game, as I said, it's not so simple. For example, let me take from my clan vault this armor. So we have different types of armor. We have like iron armor, you could say, like plate, which has high physical defense, but it's reduce your archery accuracy or magic accuracy. So you will struggle, you will miss monsters. And you have like leather weapon, leather armor, and you have also cloth armor. The thing is that they all have different power. So at your inventory screen, there is a small, on the bottom right side, there is a small place where you could see melee, archery, and magic properties. So this is your melee strength, it's how much damage you make, accuracy, how you could hit enemies depending on their defense to this particular type of attack, and your defense, it's again defense versus melee. And there's the same thing for archery and for magic. So you may notice right now that I am actually not wearing this platinum plate body. You see, my defense, physical defense, it's 75. But if I'll use this platinum, you see, I'll have like much more. I'll have like almost 200 defense. Why I am using this ranger, for this armor for archers? Why? Because actually right now I am fighting with magical enemies. So for different enemies you need different defense. So right now my goal is to have high magic defense. And with this leather armor, you see it has very high magical defense, 20. While plate armor, it's actually reducing your magical defense. That's why with this setup, which I have right now, if we would go fight versus some magic monsters, for example, versus druids, you could see that druid, it do not have actually physical attack. It's using magic. and its weakness is slash. As I am using Scimitar, Scimitar has attack type slash. So if I'll fight druids, I'll make more powerful blows to them. But the thing is that I need protection versus magic. Because if I'll use physical protection, plate armor, they will make a lot of damage to me. So let's fight with them. As I am right now using most of my items, they give us magical defense. This way we you see, sometimes druid miss. Sometimes Q could hit you, of course, but in a lot of times it miss you. So this is it. So you could use hybrid builds. Let's finish this druid. Yeah, sometimes I'm also could miss, depending on luck. Actually, there is a general rule. You should be able to hit in like 80% chances to be effective. So if you hit in 80% chances, it's worth to stay on this mob. If you miss a lot of times, then better to go at monster who has less defense. So for me, druid, it's all right. Yeah, it was just unlucky sequence, but in most cases, I kill him very fast. But if for example, if we would go to fight with the zombies, who also has weakness slash, but versus them we need actually physical. We need physical protection. So let's equip our items like this. Also, we better to equip boots. This is special boots for magic and archer. But anyway, I just want to demonstrate it to you first. So if we would fight versus zombies, I will miss a lot of times versus them because they have just a higher defense. And actually, in the game, you cannot see all stats. There is a wiki though. So if you would go for zombie, for example, in game wiki, you would see these zombies, these monster parameters, which you do not see in the game. So in the game, you would see only this stuff. Yeah. So there are additional stuff. So if you, for example, want to fight with some bosses early on, there are bosses like Zeus. You could also see his precise stats. So this wiki page gives you more information about monsters than you could see in game. It's a nice tip. So try to do it. The only thing in wiki, there is a way only to find monster, do a search. So you need to search your monster, for example, vampire, and this way you could find them. There is no like list for now. Maybe later on it will be here. So yeah, it's how you should think about fighting. Actually, you need all skills. So, for example, you see, to equip plate, you need defense, like 30 for platinum. But to equip this ranger armor, you need archery. That's why what eventually you will go with all weapons. You will use all weapons in the game to gain it, because sometimes you will fight versus bosses or monsters who has like magical attack, and then even if you are a melee player, you will need to wear these suits with magical defense. So it's kind of obligatory thing to go with archery a bit if you are a warrior, and to go with if you are a magic guy, for example, you use staff. By the way, let me just show it to you how we could use staff. Let me wear my earrings. Combat. So you could find some monster who weak to magic, like we do not have anything here. It's like troll, for example. You could fight with your staff. Right now we see we're using staff, but my magic it's too low, like level 20 all only. That's why I miss a lot versus him. I made magic 20 just to wear some items. That's it. So for me, like, to level up magic, it's the best way. It's to fight with like with animals, I think, even like with a bear with such low skills. So the goal, when you want to level up, you need to fight with something which you could hit more like in a minimum 80% chance. So if you hit less than in 80% chance, then it's better to find monsters with less defense. So yeah, it's kind of the rule. And of course there are some more stuff, like there is a bosses, so you could check that starting with wilderness you could find keys, different keys. Each monster type has its own one, and then you could open with these keys, you could open dungeons and go there with your friends. You could have only one key at the moment, and hint is to open the dungeon but do not go inside, then you will be able to open the dungeon and have another key in your inventory. It's a small tip for you. But basically, yeah, is it worth it to fight? What you should aim on? The most valuable things is gemstones and chests. Another thing to look at, it's the chance to get, for example, look, this dragon, it has 30 hit points, and the chance to get gemstone, it's 0.2. Snake has almost twice less hit points, and the chance it's 0.125. So actually, if you are looking for getting gemstones, you will smaller, higher chance will be to kill snakes actually. Yeah, because actually they have very low defense. You see, they have 6 only, while dragon has 25. So if you are aiming for gemstones, you see, you will fight at the same time. You will kill like 3 snakes instead of 1 dragon if you are just starting to play. Especially if you also can archery, it has weakness to archery, this snake. The same thing goes to a lot of stuff. For example, wandering warrior. Here we also aiming for rare treasure chests or just common treasure chests, because in these chests you will get special enhancement scrolls. Every scroll could cost like from 100,000 till like 300 or even more. So 300,000. So, and of course elite gems also here. So it's kind of a very profitable thing. But you will need to think whom to fight. And weakness, it's important thing, but sometimes you could actually ignore it. Sometimes you could choose target with just lowest defense. But actually it's, for example, druid for me, as I am going with a scimitar. Why I went to druid? Because it has weakness to slash, but I had to change my armor from my platinum plate to magical, which is much worse. So in this way, you could, if you do not want to go with to wear magical armor, you could just go to fighting wandering warrior. Even if you are using scimitar, it will be still alright. So do not always go for weaknesses. There are different strategies, a lot of strategies in this game. And you may also notice that yes, archery, all dragons, they're vulnerable to archery, and the biggest chance for get gemstones is from dragons. So you could see that archery it's a very solid choice, but eventually you will need all skills. You will need magic, you will need archery to fight with different monsters. But the good start is to go in melee, I think. But in my clan, for example, I see that some people, they use, for example, a bow, only bows. This guy, he already almost 70. But he should change his bow, I think. Yeah, it's a bit outdated. So yeah, its main thing which I wanted to share with you, it's kind of first guide. We would also talk about bosses later on. But yeah, it's what you should know about the game. Another important thing is equipment. As I said, that rings, bracelets, amulets, you could buy it immediately when you just start to play because they are very cheap and they do not have any requirements. Also capes, it's a very nice thing to buy. You need some defense for it, but first cape, it's like this red one. Let me show it to you. It's accessible almost, I think I sold it, okay. It's accessible almost immediately. So you just go at the market and Just search for clock, for cape, I mean, yeah, for cape. And you would find this cape, and you could buy it immediately because it's cheap and with low requirement, and give you some nice bonuses. Why not? Another thing, nice boots. Boots of quickness, because they give you, it's like the only boots useful for mage and for archer when you just start to play these boots. Also, some people, they use magical hat, wizard hat it's called, but it's quite, you see, like wizard's hat, it's cost a lot of gold. No, wizard's hat is cost, there are different types. So yeah, wizard hat cost low gold. It's give you some, it's useful for mage because it gives you magical strength, but actually there are also another high tier hats for mages. They cost like millions. So good head items, they cost a lot. So I just use diamond earrings because it gives you magical defense as I am fighting with the versus mages. But you could use this wizard's hat if you are mage and you use stuff, because for stuff it's useful to have it. Another nice tip is to use tome. So you see, I use this scimitar. It's one-handed, and there is a decayed book which requires 20 magic. It gives you plenty of magical defense. You see, 12. So it's definitely a good way to go fighting magical monsters. And gloves. Use any gloves because they all give you nice stuff for any build. So gloves, it's must have. That's it. Another, yeah, as I forgot about bows. Yeah. Considering bows and archery, it's a really cool thing to do it, and you could use it without arrows. So if we would go to the combat to fight some snake, for example, I do not need arrows to kill it, and we deal quite nice damage. When do you need arrows? You need arrows only, for example, I have right now like 170 arrows. Each arrow which I spend it costs quite a lot of gold to me. So each arrow is 15 gold, which is a lot. But it gives you some, you see, additional archery strength. So when you just start to play, do not use arrows. It's waste of money, because there are some other places where better to put money. Arrows you will need it later on, closer to mid-game. But when you just start to play, focus on getting money to buy premium. If you didn't bought it for real money, you could buy it for in-game currency. So it's your goal. And about it, we will talk in our next videos. Thank you very much for watching. It's small tips which I wanted to share with you, and we will make more videos. I'll tell you more interesting stuff. Bye. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll make more interesting videos about idle RPGs. And leave your comments. See you.